hope so. Man, my wife hopes so. I mean, we got our fingers and toes crossed here in Iowa. But if you don't,
you know he's not going to win. Come
you
on.
can just get a few percentage points of the electorate to follow you, to do what you want them to do, like your brother Bernie did, as you call him. And it comes time for the election, and you tell Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, for instance, look, give us one thing. We haven't been getting anything on climate, war, and health care. Or Julian Assange, also. Don't forget about him. Give us one thing, and I will give you or release my voters to do whatever they want to, and they might be persuaded to vote for you if you do this one thing. And, I'm talking about things like peace talks in Ukraine, Medicare for all for the natural disaster victims, including in East Palestine, Ohio.
If that worked, the Democrats would promise to do whatever it is you say you want, and then as soon as they win, they would just stop talking about it and betray you.
For the support that I have. Is that craziness on my part, or is there a possibility that could happen?
All right. Folks, I'm not saying that George is a bad guy. It's probably not. Probably a sweetheart, okay? But what George is asking is a question that I've heard a lot of people ask. And when I hear it, I just want to put my hands over my ears because I don't want to listen to it. George, come here, man. Do you really believe that Joe Biden will keep his promises? I mean, even
exactly.
Let's say Dr. West said, okay, you know what? We're in the war in Ukraine. I got some votes. I got 7%. I got 12%. Hey, I got 15%. Whatever the percentage is. Hey, I'm almost winning this thing. Maybe I'll just take it to the house. Whatever it is, right? Would that be worth it to end the Ukraine war? And do you for a second believe that Joe Biden would live up to, keep his word on anything he says? We're talking about Joe Biden, the guy who plagiarized another person's speech.
Yes.
For the presidency.
Yes.
We're talking about a guy who did so many things, lied about so many things.
Yes.
You don't vote for me, you ain't black. We're talking about Crime Bill Joe here.
100%.
Man with his fingertips on every horrible piece of legislation that punished black people for being poor, living in a bad environment for the last 35, 40 years. This guy's the reason why you can't discharge your student loan debt. Now bankruptcy.
100%.
That's this guy.
Right.
That's Joe Biden. You think that guy would give us healthcare, Ukraine war, peace talks, marijuana,
nope.
legalization?
Nope.
Really? George, I think you'll overestimate the sincerity of the Democratic Party.
Correct.
This party was willing to lose with Hillary. This party is willing to lose with Joe Biden. So
they're not going to lose.
How much are they willing to give up in order to win? I don't think a lot.
When they lose, they win. I don't think Tim Black gets that.
They're worried about keeping a constraint. They're worried about pleasing their donors and the special interests that they operate within.
Right.
That's what's most important.
100%.
So I think we have a disconnection with you, George, about how DC works, bro.
Correct.
But okay, enough of me talking. What was Dr. Cornell West's response? Now remember, it's important that if you're in good faith, you will listen to the response that Cornell West gives, and unless you have some incontrovertible evidence that's contrary to it, you got to accept it.
Well, typically what Colonel West says is really sophistry, stuff that sounds good and will appeal to a certain demographic, but lacking in substance. Let's see.
This campaign is a crucial moment in a larger movement for poor and working people here and abroad.
What does that mean?
In any instance of just negotiation with a Biden or anybody else that would take away the fire of that movement, you see, I would never do that. We need alternative institutions, alternative infrastructure.
What does that mean?
Movements, alternative vision.
What does that mean?
In order to fight the escalating fascism.
What exactly does that mean?
And allow Biden to take that issue and steal the thunder from the movement. Oh no, I would never do that. That's like asking the jazz musician to join a military band and play just
sophistry.
Play a few blue notes. Just play a few blue notes, maybe in the third section of the song. No. We want the whole band to be jazz.
Okay, I appreciate that, but what does that actually mean? Translate that into a specific strategy and goal you're trying to accomplish.
But no, movements are very different.
Movement. What does that mean?
You know, this is a movement-driven project in that regard.
There you have it, folks.
What is the project? What's the movement? What does it actually mean? If we support you, what are we getting out of it? Movement. What does that mean?
It's a crucial movement. Now, let's say
movement. It's a movement. Oh, it's a crucial movement. What does that mean? What can I buy with crucial movement? Is that going to help drop inflation? Is that going to help us get health care?
Rejection of even considering the notion. There are people that discount everything that Mr. West says. They're going to deny everything that comes out of his mouth. Those people don't believe in Dr. West, and that's fine. But they won't just say, hey, there's nothing he can say. I just don't trust him. Something about his hair, or I don't like his glasses. And the latest one is he has too much school.
No, he didn't say anything of substance. You can't just say movement. It's a movement. It's a critical movement. They're going to take away from the movement. What does that mean?
Shame on.
Exactly.
Shame on you.
Bernie had a lot of big talk like that too. And although we got some good stuff out of it, what did he really get done?
Do that. It was still the thunder from the campaign from this movement. It's like a living thing, and this would be like cutting its legs off.
Cutting the legs off of what?
Incapacitating the movement, like shutting it away, locking it away.
What
pulling away,
do you mean by movement?
taking the electric cord?
How is this movement going to get us health care?
That's what that would do. And no matter, but the problem, the sad part, guys, the sad part is no matter what it is.
What is your specific strategy to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish?
Dr. West is, there'll be people that say, you're wasting your time saying this because they would never believe him. Those people have big platforms. Those people have large followings.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason why the left just doesn't really accomplish much at all. I don't know, they're just so lost. You have frauds like Jimmy Dore that's just online, capitalists trying to make as much money as possible. Now we're hearing potentially bought off by billionaires, which is not surprising at all whatsoever to people that are really paying attention. And then you have other smaller creators that, don't have Jimmy Dore money, that are struggling and see how things are just really not working in this country. And I think many of them have genuine desires to make things better, but that conflicts with their survival instincts. They want to survive. They want health care. They want to not struggle. They want to, be able to pay their bills. And getting online and joining the Jimmy Dore left and, becoming a Jimmy Dore sycophant and doing a bunch of videos defending him against anyone that said anything about him, and, all in hopes of getting on his show, getting exposure on his show, getting, views from his audience, right? So you have a bunch of people following these kind of, frauds that have some level of seriousness and concern, but they prioritize the profits, the views, the money. Jimmy Dore being an extreme example of that. Jackson Hinkle being an extreme example of that. Tim Black, I believe, represents someone who, although just like anyone else who chooses this business, has the conflict of interest. If he doesn't make enough views, he's not going to make enough money in terms of being able to feed his family and pay his rent, mortgage, whatever it is. So he can't ever be 100%, genuine and true. He may even believe that he can, but ultimately he's going to be a slave to the algorithm, right? He cannot do this as a business to survive off of just doing his own thing. He must pay some level of attention to the algorithm. Otherwise his channel will look like mine, who genuinely 110% middle finger to the algorithm, right? I do my own thing, right? My thing here is all about truth and educating my audience. I want people to unplug from partisan media, right? So I'm not affected by the algorithm, right? I can do things that Tim Black can't because this is how he feeds his family. But ultimately, I would like to believe a majority of his what's guiding him is a genuine desire for change. I see him get involved with Nina Turner. Now, he's doing his thing with Cornell West, but unfortunately, he's become a sort of left-wing Brian Tyler Cohen, right? Brian Tyler Cohen is an Access journalist. You'll never hear him giving a solid critique of the Democrats. All he does is champion, what's good about them and attack their opponents. Tim Black, that's what I see him doing. Same thing with Nina Turner, right? He'll tell you all about what's great about them, not so much about what's not so great about them. I mean, you may do a little thing here and there, but you can never trust or depend on Tim Black to tell you, any real issues with Cornell West. Just like you can't trust, Ben Shapiro to tell you about, Trump. A few exceptions once in a while, but generally speaking, he's not a good source to know what's wrong with Trump or what's wrong with DeSantis. You can't depend on MSNBC to tell you what's wrong with the Democrats, or the same thing with CNN, right? So case in point, he is spending so much time and effort promoting Cornell West. For what reason? What are we getting out of voting for Cornell West? He just keeps saying, again, movement. That's like Trump, man. Trump says a lot of stuff that sounds good, but what does he really mean? Make America great again, right? Make America great again. We got to make America great. What does that really mean? How are you going to make America great again, right? Dr. Cornel West, he's going to do a movement for the people. What does that mean? Now, he may have a bunch of fancy stuff written on his website. I'm sure he does. But what's the plan to make those things get done? First of all, there's no way he can get elected. Now, he can get elected. I mean, let me be 100% legit. But not with the American left as they are. The American left is too weak to make the reality of Cornel West winning the presidency. He can win. Trust me, he can. There's a lot of stuff that we can do, right? But we have to change our mindset. And how are we going to change our mindset when the voices we listen to, we have corporate media, on the liberal side, that's, basically Democratic Party apologists, giving free negative ads for the for the Democratic Party, attacking the Republican Party, right? We got Jimmy Dore just trying to get clicks off of COVID. And now we have Tim Black here, oh, Cornel West, the movement, you gotta support the movement. To what end, right? Case in point, and this is again the common flaw I see with the American left, why I say they're so weak and ineffective and why they don't get much done. So this guy talked about, hey, let's bargain with Biden. If you give us these things, he's got all these voters that, Cornel West has all these voters, right? They're voting for him unless, Biden says, I'm gonna do these things, right? And then he rightfully points out that Biden would probably promise to do these things, and then as soon as he gets in power, he does an Obama, right? And he says, these things are not the top priority in my agenda, right? So Tim Black is correct to that extent. But what he is incorrect in, the gap in his strategy and his thinking, is the common gap that we see across the board with the left. They don't have any fight, right? The reason why that strategy wouldn't work, yes, the Democrats are dishonest. Yes, they'll make promises of things they won't do. But the thing about it is we, the people, hold the power, right? The Democrats will do whatever we make them do, right? So the problem with that mentality is this is the way it will work with the American left, the way they are, their weakness, their lack of fight, right? They'll go and they'll push and like, we got to support the movement, and then you get some negotiation going on. Okay, Biden, we're going to vote for you if you do X, Y, and Z. Then Biden says yes. Then they vote for him. Then Biden wins. As soon as he wins, he's that's it. He stops and he says, I'm not going to do none of this stuff. I'm not going to say that, but he's just not even talking about it, right? And then that's it. Everybody just shrugs their shoulders. Oh, well, we tried. Okay, man. And then, got content creators online making a bunch of videos attacking Joe Biden. Joe Biden screwed us or whatever. We told you guys, them exit, whatever. What kind of fight is that? What kind of BS is that? I've told my subscribers so many times the way that you win. If you vote without demands and without consequences, you're wasting your time. So if you're going to make a deal with the Democrats, right, but then there's no consequences of if they betray you, right? You're not even declaring those consequences. You're not prepared to deliver on those consequences. You're wasting your time. They're going to say they're going to do it, then they don't do it, and then you guys move on, and then you're on social media, whatever. That's not how you fight, man. You get on the battlefield, and somebody fires a couple shots, and then one of your soldiers gets hit, and you're like, oh, okay, let's go home. We got hit. That's it. No, man, you get back out there. You get him fixed, and you get back out there, and you keep fighting and fighting. You fight for the deal, and then when they betray you, you destroy them. You let them know you're going to do it beforehand, by the way. You say, listen, okay, we're going to take your word for it. I'm going to tell you right now, mark my word. If you come into office and you don't deliver, and we don't want to hear no excuses about what you can't do, whatever, we don't have no sympathy for that. We're not going to care. All we want to hear, if we vote for you, all we want to hear is you getting it done, and getting it done quickly. And if we don't see that, and we don't give you much time, we're going to give you a deadline, and if you don't make some significant progress, and every excuse that you make, and we will set it up where you got to put in writing or something, whatever you can do to make it official, legal contract, whatever it is, that there's going to be periodic check-in meetings. We're going to meet up with you, and we have a discussion. What have you gotten done so far? Right? If you're going to vote for Biden, that's saying you want Biden, you're hiring him to do a job to work for us, right? That means we're the boss. How are you going to be the boss and you don't have no meetings with your staff, in terms of reviewing their performance and letting them know, listen, you're falling behind. So if I don't see, some significant improvement in what you're doing by such and such time, it's going to be all-out war. What does all-out war mean? Boycotts. The thing is, the left knows what to do. You guys know, you guys got caught up in this bullshit Black Lives Matter, right? Somebody was trying to get famous, trying to make their millions, and they used all this emotion and anger across the nation. And you guys got caught up in that, and you were out there in the streets, and you're protesting, and this and that, and you were united, and you're raising money, but you're spending all that energy behind something that's bullshit. You helping somebody to buy mansions, right? You helping somebody to get attention, whatever it is, whatever the self-interest that was behind the organizers of BLM, right? So you guys know what to do. But for some reason, you don't have the spine like you used to back in the day, civil rights era, where you guys would be out there and you fight and you fight. You don't take no for an answer. This fails, you try something else. You keep pushing and pushing until you get it done, right? But instead, what do we have? People talk, oh, the movement, we got to have a movement. What's your plan? What's your strategy? How are you going to get it done? When is it going to get done? What's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 3? I don't want to hear no bullshit about no movement. And then here's the next thing. This, again, why the left is so weak. All this energy and momentum and focus on Cornel West. Cornel West is the guy that these very same people who are pushing him, they believe him to be fraudulent. But yet they're promoting him to their audience. What am I talking about? Cornel West is the guy who likes Tucker Carlson. Cornell West is the guy who chose to run for president under a party that's run by a sexual predator. And he was deep inside of that party, so he knew, and he chose to run under that party. Plus, if you look at his resume, what he's been up to, he has been so close to so many shady characters. The stuff that he's been getting involved in, the people he's been getting involved in, these are the people that Tim Black and others who are promoting Cornell West would call these people frauds and blah, 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 and they're fascists and whatever. But your boy Cornell West is chilling with these people. And I'm not talking about, he's trying to reach across the aisle. No, man. In the People's Party, running under the People's Party, run by a sexual predator. Right? And if you guys didn't make enough noise, he would still be under that party. That's the guy stumbling around in the dark, amateur hour. But you got so seduced by his past and who he used to be that you can't see who he is today. That's the American left. That's why you guys don't get nothing accomplished. Everywhere you look, you just see weak, lost, misguided, lack of leadership, right? Where's the Cornell West from 20, 30 years ago today that you guys are behind? Where's the Bernie Sanders as he advertised himself to be versus who he was? Where's the AOC who she presented herself to be? And perhaps who she was in the beginning, until she became part of the establishment, became the surrogates of the Democratic Party. You guys lack any serious leadership. You lack strength, you lack resilience, you lack fight, you lack backbone. And all of your thought leaders today are caught up in this social media generation. You left-wing folks are getting their ideas from people who are content creators, online entertainers that are focused on their metrics, how much views they got, clicks they got, how famous they are. And that's who the American left. That's who you're getting ideas from. You're listening to entertainers trying to entertain people online, trying to run a business, a media business, pretending or playing this part that they're somehow activists and they're doing a movement. You guys don't have anybody serious. Not that I've seen. The people that you keep getting behind. And the thing is, you keep backing these people who the end result is always the same, and there's never a recognition of a failure of what you're doing. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. It's Obama, it's Bernie, it's Cornel West, and after Cornel West, there's going to be somebody else, 60, 70, 80 years old, on some whatever project that they doing for them for whatever reason. I'm not saying that Cornel West doesn't have a genuine, desire to help and all that kind of stuff. All I'm saying is his days have passed, right? His days have passed. I'm seeing what he's doing now. I'm seeing who he's hanging with now. He ain't what he used to be. What you guys need is what he was, not who he is. I don't know what it's going to take for you guys to choose more wisely. I think maybe you look around and you don't see anybody good, and then you're like, this is all we have, and you go behind the person. Ultimately, I think focus less on a savior and focus more on yourselves. You guys are the ones with all the power, right? Stop hoping for someone to come and save you. Obama, Bernie, Cornel West. You save you. You organize. You fight. You make a change. You get together with your neighbors, your friends, your family, and you go to war. I'm talking about protest, boycott, push on the local level. If you're going to vote, you got to vote with demands and you got to vote with consequences. Whoever you vote for needs to know if they don't deliver, you're coming for them. They need to fear you. Democrats don't fear you guys. They know they can say whatever. You guys will vote for them, then they don't deliver, and there's almost no consequence. And even if they lose the election, they still win. When the Democrats are out of power, they ain't got to do nothing. All they got to do is say, well, we don't have the votes. You need to vote for more of us. So they get to go to sleep. The best thing is for the Democrats to lose. They still got those salaries. They're still doing the backdoor deals. And they don't really have to deliver on anything because they could just say, we don't have the votes. The worst thing is when they win, because then the excuses got to get more complicated. Until we, the people, stand up and fight and keep fighting and demand change and be prepared to inflict damage if we don't get what we want. you ain't gonna get nothing. And I'm talking about you vote for people and they don't deliver, you vote them out, and you keep voting out and voting in until they get the message. When they see that we ain't playing, you're gonna see how fast they change. And when they get that message, it won't matter who's in office. It could be Pelosi, Biden, it don't matter. Once we the people retain our power, whoever it is that's in power, Republicans, Democrats, Pelosi, it don't matter. Because these people will do anything for money and power. And if we keep taking away the money and power by voting them out when they don't deliver, watch how fast they start delivering. Until you guys get that message, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. Crumbs. Unplug, wake up. Try something different. I don't know how else to say it, how else to explain it.